God bless you. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I choose to rejoice and be glad in it. I'm Dr. Charles Kent, and you've tuned into another edition of A Word Fitly Spoken. From my book, A Word Fitly Spoken, it's like apples of gold in a setting of silver. We're talking about this word boat. Yeah, I know. Just hold on. It'll all come together. It's about a guy, a young evangelist that did not want to obey God, wanted to go his own way, had some issues about doing what God had instructed him to do. You know what was funny about this? This one man, this one reluctant young man was charged by God. He was wired by God to be able to preach to one city and cause that whole city to come to Jesus. His reluctance, his dysfunctions, his bad attitude, he still had what it took to minister to that whole city of Nineveh. Isn't it strange to you and to me? At least it was to me. Seemed like to me God would have went and got somebody else. Why must he work with people that don't have the willingness to do what it was that God had instructed them to do? And so rather than obey God, Jonah paid money to go in the wrong direction. Wow. How much are you and I paying? How much have you and I spending our wheels? How much have you and I invested in going the wrong direction? You know exactly what it was that God had spoken to you and where you're supposed to go and who you're supposed to see and what you're supposed to say when you get there. But you don't want to go for various different reasons. Jonah had faith in God. He had confidence in God that if I speak this word, if I declare this truth, that these people are going to come to the knowledge of the truth and they're going to get saved. And he just didn't want that. He didn't want them to get right. He didn't want them to share what he had. He wanted them to go to hell. And I'm concerned about people that are wired to preach to people that don't want to do it. And they end up with this pseudo satisfaction. They end up in a career. They end up in a vocation. They end up in relationships. And they spend a lot of money going in the wrong direction. Jonah paid to get on that boat and to go in an opposite direction. And it was hell. It was literally hell for him for that short period of time. And then finally, he recognized that it wasn't just hell for him, but it was hell for everybody else around him. What's going on here? You're not where you want to be. You're not where your anointing is supposed to carry you. You're not doing what it is that God has ordained you to do. And it's causing not just you to be miserable. The storm is coming, but it's not, you don't have, it's one thing to have peace in a storm. It's another thing for everybody around you to be affected by your storm. How many people are called of God to be ministered to and to come alongside and help you do the work of ministry while you are going somewhere else, doing something else? And it reminds me of Daniel, how the king of the Chaldeans came into the house of God and stole all of the gifts, excuse me, all of the people that were wired for worship. They were good looking, they were intelligent, gifted, and he stole them out of the house of God and began to train them and teach them in the ways of the Chaldeans. And they spent money perfecting what it was. There was over 4,000. I did my homework. There were over 4,000 people that were taken captive. that were quality people, that were earmarked for worshiping God, that were taken captive in the land of the Chaldeans. All we hear about is three or four: Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and a few others. What happened to all the rest of them? It was all about the Benjamins. It was all about the money. I've seen this happen so many times in St. John 13. The the young man that is wired to have the hold the purse strings, he's now selling out. He's now selling out for 30 pieces of silver. And so you spend money for things that won't satisfy. You're investing time and energy on that which is not the will of God. But it feels good, it looks good. But everybody around you recognize you're in trouble, and you have gotten us in trouble. Look at what happens here. This is in Jonah. Jonah got in a boat going in the wrong direction. He paid money to board this boat. He was comfortable in his decision. When he made a decision to do something contrary to what God has said, then he paid the price. How many of us today are going in the wrong direction and paying the price? Because of Jonah's presence on the boat, disturbance came. And due to Jonah's disobedience, many of the lives of everyone on that boat were in jeopardy. You know what it is? A boat is a big opportunities that aren't truth. I'm going to say that again. A boat for Jonah was a big opportunity that just aren't truth. They don't come up as truth. I'm asking you today, the opportunities that have come across your path, the financial opportunities that have come across your path, are they of God, or are you missing God? So many stories in the scriptures and examples come up that allow me to recognize the difference between prosperity, a blessing, and that which is sorrowful. We read that in Proverbs 10. It said, "The blessings of the Lord maketh rich, and addeth no sorrow, no grief, no pain, no strife in it." So you got to ask yourself, is this a blessing or is it not a blessing? Is it a big opportunities that aren't truth, or are they ordained of God? It's time for you to say, just like Abraham said, when Lot looked and he saw the plains and he said, "Listen, let me and my people go here." Abraham was so secure in his faith in God because God was teaching him how to walk by faith and not by sight. I've had to turn down jobs. Yes, I did, because they were going to take me away from my assignment. I had to walk away. It's about time for you to recognize what boat you're on. Is this big opportunities that aren't truth? Or are you finding a way to justify what you're doing that's not bringing salvation and deliverance to others? It's your choice. It's my choice. And it's time that we make the right choice, that we stay with God and the promises of God and watch God turn our little bit into much as we turn it over to Him. I gotta go. I'm Dr. Charles Kent with another Word Fitly Spoken. God bless you.